Hello everyone. I'd actually wanted to get this video out earlier in the month. However, in a peculiar twist of irony, my video on alternative medicine got delayed by the fact that I was under the weather. Relax, it's not the coronavirus. Yes, I'm certain. Any rate.
Let's go ahead and get started.
Rude. Okay then, how about if you tell us who you are and why we should care?
I am Dr. Joanne Yanez. I'm the Executive Director for the Association of Accredited Naturopathic Medical Colleges. And
Naturopathic medicine, huh? Sounds suspiciously like homeopathic. And some of you may remember the observation we made last month about terms that sound suspiciously similar to each other. But we'll go ahead and skip the minute or so you went on rambling about yourself and ask the question anyway. What the heck is naturopathic medicine?
one of the things, and it's my first slide here.
Slide? You mean this entire video is just a voiceover of a PowerPoint presentation? I mean, sure, I don't have a whole lot of room to talk, but I'm not trying to sell anything. Yet.
One of the things that drew me personally to naturopathic medicine was the philosophy. It was that this was a practice of medicine that was rooted in things that were important to me. As a student, as a pre-med.
Oh boy, here we go. First of all, the only type of philosophy that should be involved in any form of medicine is how do we improve people's health? Secondly, using a philosophy to decide what field of alleged medicine to study is kind of like using poetry to figure out your bank statement. Sure, it might make you feel better at the time, but it really doesn't address anything that actually matters.
Some of you who have asked this over the years. So, as a pre-med, I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be actually a psychiatrist.
Taking bets on her having gone from wanting to be a psychiatrist to having serious need of one.
Because I recognize the power of the mind. But part of my interest in medicine also lay with understanding the role in nutrition, understanding that exercise was important, that our thoughts were important, that the food we put in our bodies fueled ourselves, and that was important, and that preventing disease was really powerful, and in my mind, as vital as treating disease. And so,
Whoa, let me get this straight. You're saying that the keys to preventing diseases are proper diet, proper exercise, and thinking good thoughts.
One of these things just doesn't belong here.
the 6 principles, when I saw them for the first time, really spoke to me with the thought of prevention, treating the whole person, identifying the cause, teaching patients how to live well, and the healing power of nature.
You would think that in a video that's actually titled Introduction to Naturopathic Medicine, they would have said what the heck it is by now. Luckily, I also have a source that isn't trying to sell classes on the subject, and thus doesn't have a financial motivation to make it sound good. Our old pal Wikipedia, which says it's a form of alternative medicine that uses pseudoscientific practices branded as natural, non-invasive, and promoting self-healing, and that its ideology and methods are based on vitalism and folk medicine, rather than evidence-based, real, medicine. Okay, so they're woo peddlers, like we thought at the beginning of this. Its practitioners generally recommend against following modern medical practices, including, but not limited to, medical testing, drugs, vaccinations, and surgery. Oh, for the love of donuts, they're not just woo peddlers, they're anti-vaxxers. It goes on to say that naturopathy is considered ineffective and harmful by the medical community, and that naturopaths are frequently accused of and denounced as being charlatans and practicing quackery. Well, of course they are. It's like the old saying goes, if it has fur like a wolf, ears like a wolf, a tail like a wolf, and a smoking hot human body, chances are it's me.
And as I moved along in school, the other piece that really fascinated me was how NDs thought about patient care, because it was very different from the conventional model and how I had seen medicine practiced most of my life. And so
when you say the conventional model, I'm assuming that you mean using practices that have been scientifically proven to actually work. So yeah, totally different from what you're spouting.
when a naturopathic doctor approaches a patient care, so right now we've got the therapeutic order image up on the screen, and this is really how NDs think. When we approach a patient case, we're looking at the bottom of that triangle first.
Couple things with this one. First, though I realize it's not the case in this particular instance, you're gonna tend to raise some red flags when you're trying to sell something and make that much of an effort to avoid using the word pyramid. Also, regarding the dinging we just heard in that clip, I would like to strongly recommend that you remember to turn off your BS detector before making a video like this.
Which is establishing foundations for optimal health. So that's the determinants of health. That's stress and sleep and good thoughts and good food and good water and all of the things that it takes to be healthy. And so when a naturopathic doctor is looking at a patient and symptoms, they're looking from this holistic viewpoint and checking in on those most important key foundational aspects first.
So according to what you're teaching, proper diet, exercise, and staying in a good mood will clear a case of chlamydia right up. I'm asking for a friend.
Then we go up from there and we, may start to introduce different natural therapies to stimulate self-healing or restored areas of the body that have been weakened.
For any of you who might not be familiar with this field, that translates from woo speak into charge the sucker, patient, ridiculous amounts of money for things that don't actually do anything in the hopes that the problem solves itself.
As you go up the pyramid or triangle, you're going toward more forceful interventions, things like medications, surgery, and even symptom suppression. And the reason that, when I think of the strength and the power of naturopathic medicine, is that we have all of those tools at our toolbox. We're not relegated to just, nutrition or mind body medicine or counseling or herbs. But all of this is at our fingertips. And that's one of the things that's so satisfying about providing patient care as a naturopathic doctor is that you get to have all of that. And so whatever is best for the patient is at your fingertips. And sometimes that can be medication. Sometimes that may be referral for surgery or things that are more invasive. But at the end of the day, NDs have as a core of their knowledge all of the above. And that is really the beautiful thing about naturopathic medicine.
A good chunk of that actually depends on where you live, a fact that I've noticed is conspicuously absent from your entire video.
So very often we'll hear naturopathic students talk about they want a holistic approach. They want a deeper relationship with their patients, nutrition, prevention, all of the things I talked about. And those are really common characteristics with students. They respect the art and the science of medicine. There's often a social concern, environmental concern, but they've got to be academically successful. This is medical school and it's rigorous. And we really have to understand all of the science in order to be the best doctor. So.
Oh, really? Let's check that against our other source, shall we? It says here that you only go through a small fraction of the level of training that real doctors go through. And more importantly, that looking through your literature reveals that you have a bunch of practices that are unethical, pseudoscientific, ineffective, and potentially dangerous. Folks, I think I've hit my limit with this con artist, but I think we've provided enough information to show why this practice is only licensed in a handful of U.S. states, and can't even do all the things they say they can in most of those, as well as why it's actually illegal to practice naturopathy in South Carolina and Tennessee. I've also included a link to a video Sir Sick did earlier this month that features a naturopath, so you can see one of these whack jobs in action. In channel-related news, this video marks the first time where I'll actually be featuring art of yours truly that was done by somebody else. Specifically, this absolutely adorable chibi version of me. This little cutie was drawn by the lovely, charming, and ridiculously talented Red Palette. I took the liberty of leaving a link to her art store in the description, so go throw some money at her. I also want to announce that you can now follow @Susie Sanity on Twitter. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it yet, but I guess we'll find out. Anyway, as always, until next time, stay sane, everybody. Smoochies! If you like what I do, but want to see somebody do it way better, be sure to check out Sir Sick, the Social Inequality Crusader. Links in the description below. And tell him Susie sent you.